The Atlanta Braves take down the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-2 in 11 innings. And there's no style points in baseball. But that was ugly. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, doing a special solo episode of the Postcast. Jake Mastriani, host of Locked On Braves, isn't with us, doing some family stuff for Mother's Day. And I want to talk about this 3-2 victory for the Braves over the Pirates. They do it in 11 innings. And yes, the Braves have now tied up the series. One game apiece. Finale will be tomorrow. Braves are 19-20. So if they win tomorrow, they will get the elusive 500 record that they've had 3 opportunities to get and have never done that. But if there is such a thing as a moral loss in an actual victory, I feel like this was it. Atlanta wins the game 3-2, despite only getting 5 hits. And I mean, the final run comes not from the offense, but on a passed ball by the 3rd or 4th, actually, I think the 5th Pirates reliever of the game. So we're going to talk about the pitching. We're going to talk about the offense. We're going to get to your comments. Solo show. I like to try to grab you guys out of the comments and put comments up and talk about it and answer questions. Let's start with the good today, because there's not much. And I feel like we're going to take a long time to talk about the bad. And the good, I want to start off with AJ Smith-Shawver, right? We saw him take a no-hit bid deep into a game his last time out. He went 8 innings in that game. First time in his career, his professional career, he had gone that deep in a game. Doesn't get as deep today, but still a good outing. 5 2/3 innings, 5 hit, 1 run. 2 walks to 7 strikeouts. He ends up throwing 97 pitches, and a little bit of the inefficiency that AJ Smith-Shawver can sometimes show was in here. He had less than 60 strikes despite throwing almost 100 pitches, and really kind of seemed to be leaning on the fastball in the splitter. Okay, he gets 13 whiffs, 7 are on the splitter. I'm also a little confused on the whiffs and everything. I saw plenty of cutters in this game. Real quick note on this, by the way, just because it comes up a lot and I want to address it. AJ Smith-Shawver no longer throws a slider. He throws a cutter. I know that on the broadcast and StatCast and everybody still says slider. But I've talked to people close to AJ. They have confirmed he calls it a cutter. So therefore, it is a cutter. That's how the baseball classifications work. That's how this normally works. So I know he threw some cutters. StatCast doesn't have him as throwing any. But either way, thought he looked good today. He was touching 99 with the fastball. Got only 2 whiffs on it, but 10 called strikes. It kind of goes back to that last start that he had, that the game plan for AJ Smith-Shawver has been really make him throw you strikes with the fastball. Because, one, it's hittable based on the shape. It's not the best shape for a fastball, although his induced vertical break is better on it than it used to be. But he typically has not thrown it in the zone that much. Like less than 50% entering this recent stretch of performance that he's had. Today, 60% strikes, 22 swings on it by the Pirates. Again, 2 whiffs, 10 called strikes, 9 foul balls, 11 put into play. He ends up, again, 13 whiffs, 29% CSW. The one thing that I think can come back on AJ Smith-Shawver to hurt us, and we've seen it in the past, is he is giving up a lot of hard hit contact. He gave up 10 hard hit balls in his 5 2/3 innings. So obviously that is dangerous. That is a situation where if those happen to fall, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to give up extra base hits and all of that. And he got lucky that a lot of the hardest hit balls off of him were not base hits. O'Neal Cruz had a 116 mile an hour force out Brian Reynolds had a 109 mile an hour line out, another 104 mile an hour fly out. But I thought AJ Smith-Shawver pitched good enough to win. It's frustrating that not only did he not get through 6 innings, but the thing that knocked him out of the game was Matt Gorski going down. It looked like a foot below the zone to just get a bat on a splitter down there and get it out into left field. Like, what in the Vlad Guerrero Sr. was that? But AJ Smith-Shawver does enough to win. And then Atlanta's bullpen decisions are a little bit interesting, I guess. Pierce Johnson comes in, finishes up that inning. So finishes up the 6th inning, gets the final out, comes back out, and can only get one more out. So the Braves go to Dylan Lee. Dylan Lee finishes up the inning. In the 8th, the Braves go to Rafael Montero. And I think a lot of us were expecting Deisabel Hernandez there and Raisel Iglesias for the 9th. And Raisel ended up coming in with 2 outs in the 8th to finish up that inning when Montero could not do it. He gave up a run on a hit, only got 2 outs. And I don't really know why Raisel Iglesias was not pitching. Okay. If you go back and you look at the usage, he threw 7 pitches on Tuesday. He threw 19 pitches on Thursday. Unless he got hot yesterday and never entered the game, I don't really understand why Raisel Iglesias was not available to pitch the 9th, right? It should have been Deisabel Hernandez in the 8th, Raisel Iglesias in the 9th. Again, I'm assuming he got up, he got hot or something and was not available. If you're watching live on YouTube and you remember if he got hot yesterday, let me know in the chat and I'll make sure that I mention it and kind of explain it. But odd decision there. And Deisabel ends up getting tagged with the blown save in the 9th inning. And so it goes to extras. And again, I don't know why 2 different teams have DFA'd Scott Blewett. He comes out, he pitches the 10th, he pitches the 11th, he gets the win. He's now 2-0. He gets 1 hit, 1 strikeouts, no runs allowed. Now, at the same time, Atlanta's offense wasn't great. And we'll get to that in just a second. But considering that, it's possible, and I think Matt here in the chat had said, like, yeah, maybe he just wasn't feeling well. Like, it could have been a not usage thing. It could have been he woke up not feeling well, he ate something bad, whatever it might be. But given what your offense didn't do today, the bullpen, while they gave up 1 total run, the bullpen came very clutch in this one to get Atlanta to a victory. I do think, the Pirates' run was in the 8th, not the 9th. I said 9th earlier. In just a second, I want to get to the offense, though. I want to talk about these guys because another poor offensive performance and something has to change. We'll do that next, right here on the Braves Postcast. Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a lifeline. It's that thing you need to get from half asleep to fully functioning every single day. And if it's that essential and that big of a part of your life, why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan, a pour-over purist, an AeroPress person, whatever it may be, they have a roast you'll love. I took Trade's quiz. It only took a minute. They asked me about how I brewed my coffee and the flavors that I liked and things like that. And the first bag they sent me was absolutely spot on. So right now, Trade is exclusively offering our listeners 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial. Again, drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. I asked the chat during the commercial break who was Atlanta's MVP, and I've seen a lot of Scott Blewett, I've seen a lot of Eli White, a couple AJ Smith-Shawvers. The offensive MVP, again, Atlanta only has 5 hits in this game. It's really hard to name anybody an MVP in this one. Matt Olson does go 1 for 5, right? He hits the home run. And then he also ends up, he makes the last out, ends up being the designated runner in the 11th inning, comes around to score on the wild pitch from Shugart. Trying to remember his name there, but Chase Shugart. So at some point in time, maybe Chase Shugart's your MVP for that wild pitch. Thank you, Will, for saying that in the chat there. But Atlanta's offense as a whole, another quiet, disappointing performance. The Braves go 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And again, 5 hits. And here's the thing, 4 of the 5 were for extra bases. You had 3 doubles and you had the home run. Home run came in the 3rd inning. You scored a run in the 1st. Atlanta didn't score again until the 11th. And that run was given to you by Chase Shugart. So I don't know what is wrong with this offense. I'm not going to get back into Jake's thing that he talked about yesterday. He was right. I'm not going to do the whole thing again, but we keep having conversations about Eli White should lead off instead of, Ozzie Albies if Verdugo has a day off or whatever. None of that matters. What matters is your studs. Austin Riley goes 0 for 4. He does draw a walk. Ozzie Albies goes 0 for 5. Marcell Ozuna goes 1 for 4 with a double. And so at a certain point in time, this is going to happen when your stars aren't starring. And the thing that I keep thinking about, for those of you who don't know, on the weekend, I host Locked On's MLB Game Night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So we're recapping every game from every day. And I was watching the end of Diamondbacks Dodgers yesterday. And what happened? The Dodgers put up a ton of runs in the 9th inning to come back and get the win. Started off with a Freddie Freeman double. Ended with a Shohei Ohtani 3-run home run. The stars are starring for LA. And the difference here is the stars are not starring for the Braves. At a certain point in time, you will get Ronald Acuna Jr. back. I don't know if that's going to be enough. The way the offense has played, that does not feel like it's going to be enough. And we see Atlanta acknowledging that this offense has not been doing enough, right? They asked Alex Verdugo to bunt. I think that was in the 9th inning. He ends up getting hit by the pitch, which, okay, we'll take that. But you're in a situation here where it feels like the team is aware and cognizant that they don't have the pieces to do it. These guys aren't playing well enough to do it. And at a certain point in time, the issue you have is this pitching staff is doing just about everything they can. You can't get this much good luck out of these guys every single time, right? You can't ask this pitching staff every single game, hey, you can't give up more than 2 runs, because if you do, we are not going to win this game. That's just, it's not sustainable to keep having the offense underperforming like this and then expect the offense to just figure it out eventually. The offense has to be better. This game should never have gone to extras. This is the 3rd game this week that you've gone to extras. And yes, you've won a lot of those games, but these games should never have gone to extra innings. Absolutely frustrating. And you ended up in a situation here where you had to empty the entire bench, right? Drake Baldwin pinch hits for Nick Allen. Orlando Arcia ends up going into the game for shortstop. And then Luke Williams goes into the game to pinch run for Orlando Arcia. Stuart Fairchild goes in for Marcell Ozuna. You empty the entire bench, and it just doesn't necessarily feel like it helped. I don't really understand what has to change, but something has to change. I'm not trying to be negative this entire postcast, and I apologize if you're not here to listen to ranting. It's a win. We should be happy about this, but it's incredibly hard to be happy because this win feels like it was luck. It doesn't feel like the Atlanta Braves won this game. It feels like the Pittsburgh Pirates lost this game. And yes, you're supposed to beat teams like the Pirates, and you finally did tonight after you didn't yesterday. But this isn't sustainable against your San Diegos, against your LAs. And really, the way that this division has gone, it's not going to be sustainable against the Mets. It's not going to be sustainable against the Phillies. And honestly, it might not be sustainable next week against the Nationals. This offense that we've seen in this series, and this week, really, this whole week, whether home or away, this offense we've seen in this whole week has not been good enough for Atlanta to legitimately contend for the division. It has not. It has not been good enough to put the Braves in as a wild card team. Like, if you asked me right now to give you who would be a wild card team, it's not the Atlanta Braves. I don't know what has to change. I know that they've been hot at portions of the year. I know they're not hot right now, but at this point, the cold stretches are more frequent and longer than the hot stretches. I don't know how to fix it. If I did, I guarantee you I would not be here. I would be in that front office. I've said before, I wrote about this over on Braves Today, the Braves Today newsletter, bravestoday.com, by the way, if you want to subscribe to that. I've written about it doesn't matter when you tinker along the edges, right? Eli White batting 7th, 8th, batting 1st doesn't really change things when your stars don't hit. But at some point, you've got to shake things up. Everybody is just, I'm not going to say going through the motions, but this offense is not playing to their potential. And they absolutely can. And I understand there's people in the chat saying, hey, a lot of baseball and soccer is luck. And you're right. Luck is absolutely a part of this. But luck isn't sustainable. And luck isn't a strategy for a winning season. Luck can get you through a series. Luck can get you through a week. A run of really good luck can get you through a month. Luck cannot get you through a season. And at some point in time, the skill has to start showing through. And it's been too long since it did. I'm not asking for every single person to be hot at the same time, but you've got to have more than one. You've got to have more than one player hitting at any given time. And it feels like right now, the only real person that's hitting for the most part is Eli White. It feels like at times that's it. Marcell Ozuna is on a cold streak right now. Austin Riley is still doing well overall stats at 284, but he's not playing well enough either. And at some point in time, your stars have to start starring, or this is going to be a lot shorter of a season than maybe we were hoping for. Tomorrow's the series finale. Chris Sale takes the mound. It's always exciting to get to see Chris Sale. You're in a situation, you spoiled a good outing from Bryce Elder yesterday in a loss. You spoiled a good outing from AJ Smith-Shawver today. He got a no decision. The hope is tomorrow Chris Sale can do something against a really underperforming and struggling pitcher in Carmen Mladinsky. 6.16 ERA, 1-3 record. Atlanta needs to come out and just hit the heck out of the ball tomorrow. They need to give us a little bit of confidence that they don't have to rely on a dominant pitching performance and extra innings luck to win a game. 1:35 p.m. tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow after the game to do a postcast. If you are not already subscribed on audio, subscribe to Locked On Braves. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. And if you haven't already bought a Mother's Day gift, go out and do that for your mama. That's tomorrow. Until next time, this has been Braves Today Postcast.